besides being scared and the terror gauge and the setting, it's also very important that characters die
Yeah.
and that the game doesn't end, and or their specific game does not end when they die.
Yeah.
So while you're puppet mastering your characters to be more afraid and to have all the effects, drain them while they're going insane and whatever, you also might be puppet mastering them towards death in a very real and intentional way
Yeah.
because
Because let's be honest, players hate when their characters die in every other game.
I wrote a whole song about it. It's called The Worst of the Terrible Things, and you list all the things that are bad in the world, and then the worst of the terrible things is having your character die. A little tongue in cheek there. There are worse things, but yeah, in the moment, oh my gosh, it's devastating.
Yeah. So, one of my goals, because in order to serve the genre and the spirit of the game, was to make character death, not player death, character death
Jesus. Well, when you
fun.
die in the game, you die in real life.
That's yeah, exactly. That's going to be a second edition. No, so when a character dies, it's always devastating. And for us, a character dying is just the next stage of the
It's
adventure.
just a freaking ellipses, baby.
Hell yeah, we have Afterlife play. In our game, you get to turn into a ghost or a revenant, as we call them in the game. Um, what it ultimately does is unlock an entirely new level of play for you. Your character lives. If they die, they then become a ghost. They get unique revenant powers and they get unfinished business. It can be either generated by a table or it can be generated by the scenario or the game master, but you get ultimately a mission that you need to complete as a ghost. And if you don't complete it in the scenario you're in that specific haunted house moment, you continue the game as a revenant, as a ghost character until you finish that thing. And then the best thing is you then get to sort of resurrect your character and come back. And this is our respec system, it's our multi-classing system, and it's called lineage. Basically, when you design your character, you shouldn't just be designing your character for your first person that you name. You should be designing their lineage. You should be thinking about if and when your character dies, when they finish their afterlife, who are they coming back as? Are they resurrecting as a sister, a brother? Are they coming back as some other connected character? And when they do come back, they do get to keep all of the benefits of their skill upgrades. We are using the skill upgrade system from BRP. We didn't mention this. Our system is based on the Chaosium basic role playing engine, and we are using the Orc license. Instead of sort of leveling up your character or skilling up your character, when you get to come back as your next lineage evolution, you get to respec. You sort of get to keep your advantages. You have a few choices for moving stats around. You can pick a new class, and even if you pick a new class, you do get to keep a select number of powers from your previous class. This allows you to have sort of a dynamic way to do things. So you might be a combat based character, and the next time you come back, you might be a spiritual based character that is more of a support character, but you still might be more effective in combat than you would have been because you get to keep hold of those previous powers, abilities, and stats based off of the way our respec system works.
The spirits are helping you beyond the grave.
Yeah. And if you finish your unfinished business, you also get one of the revenant powers that you get to carry forward. So all of a sudden you have a deep connection to the aetheric world, to the supernatural world. And because of that, you are now empowered to use a skill that you didn't have before. So that's this
Unfinished
really.
business is just so cool. I mean, the whole lineage thing is so cool, but unfinished business is so iconic to I think what most people associate with like what's cool about ghosts and the why ghosts even exist. And so to have mechanics that reward that and I mean maybe even add consequences to if you
Yeah,
don't do it, then it's like it's just so cool. It's like directly funneling into expectations for a horror game, which is delightful.
the goal was how many opportunities can we take advantage of that come from horror genre storytelling that just don't exist in other games. And so that was one of the core ones that we were like, I was like, I want people to design their characters differently, and I want there to be a new style of creativity in that uh task, because we all love character creation, and it is one of the most creative places for us to express ourselves at the table. And so,
It adds a bit of logic to leveling up. So, you know, I'm thinking about D&D of like, oh, you just level up and then all of a sudden at times, you just get shit. Like you just can have new spells and new features and new traits and it's just kind of like blink of an eye that just does happen. And you can contextualize it. Oh, you stayed in, you know, town for a few weeks and learned some stuff. Well, okay, sure. But this adds, it's like, yeah, there's magic in the world. When you die in our world, question mark, like that happens. But the logic of, oh, it's kind of you're being helped along, and this creature, this being, the spirit, it's not yet resolved, so it's going to add some stuff to you, even if you don't have the same name and even if you aren't in the same corporeal body. The spiritual aspect of this is lingering near you, and therefore you have traits and skills and spells that you don't actually normally have. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it represents the character getting closer to the aetheric world, to the supernatural, and how that bond, evolves and develops who you are as a character.
It gives me ideas for role playing, you know, just like, oh, okay, I am, you know, because can you imagine, you know, playing a character who had already had three of their previous people die? So like maybe now this is the great great granddaughter of, you know, XYZ, and she's like kind of already like just she's 13 and like tuned the fuck in, you
Yeah.
know.
Right, exactly. Like this child was born and was hearing ghosts because they're
Yeah,
sort of
and
imbued by the power of ghosts, so they can become more sort of unhinged and more fun characters. Like, I just grew up and I see dead people. I mean, that's the
yeah,
sort of
exactly,
that character being
exactly.
born because the previous characters in the lineage sort of set that character up to be that, you
Yeah, it
know.
gives you motivation for a longer campaign because that, well, it gives me motivation for a longer campaign because that's where you kind of want to get. And some people might be, what if there's a party where one person is still on their first character, they just never died, fine, you
Right?
know,
Yeah.
but then you do have yeah, the child in the party as well, and then you're getting kind of the betrayal on House on Haunted Hill, where you're like,
Vibe,
wait,
yeah.
what is this old preacher doing with this very intelligent 9-year-old? Yeah.
And the person who hasn't died, if they manage to pull that off, they've still they've
Not
still
when I DM, not when I DM.
exactly. They've still advanced, you know what I mean? So they're
Mm-hmm.
also like they're sort of like the elder in the party with like the most, even though they might not be their power organization is going to be different and it's
Yeah,
going to be more
yeah.
linear in their growth. Like, their also experience is more direct from a role playing standpoint. They've seen it all. They've been everywhere.
Heck
This
yeah.
this character is the character that's in the lineage. They're carrying forward um aspects of their previous characters, but they don't necessarily have the memories of those previous characters. And so you sort of get to play with all of that. Like, as you're imbued with that, you can decide for yourself like how much you get to carry forward. How did your previous character in the lineage sort of connect to this new character in the lineage, and
Yeah.
what information got passed through, and how, like, spiritually or supernaturally, like, how did they connect? And so that creativity is all yours as a player. It doesn't have to be rule functioned. It just, these are this is an example of how that creativity is really heightened in this specific sort of
Yeah.
system. So yeah, I'm really excited about that aspect.